this is part 2 of the Reddit story. Story 2, continuing story 2. So, probably gonna finish out the video here. But yeah, hope you enjoyed part 1. It was 1.5 stories. Hopefully I finish this video and this video. Yeah, it's confusing.
We both dropped it and moved on with our day. We were texting normally and everything seemed fine. Maybe it was just a small miscommunication, right?
Okay.
Well, the next day, I decided to be a good person and apologize for being over the top, and I just said I'm sorry for what happened, as well as for my part in the argument. Mind you, this is after we had stopped fighting and we're talking normally again. But I guess apologizing wasn't the right thing to do, because she replies with, "I need time to think. I said okay, I will give you space. Let me know when you want to talk." So she finally contacts me today after leaving me in silence for 5 days. And guess what? She breaks up with me. She puts all the blame on me and says that I was hiding it from her and that I am rude and need help. Like, what in the blue moon is going on? She said that everything I've done has brought her to the breaking point. As a side note, I have been to therapy for my issues, which stem from ADHD and anxiety, and I have drastically improved myself. I used to be a very angry person, and in the past really hurt her. However, these things occurred so long ago, but she is using these incidents as her main reasoning. It's almost like she uses these things against me when I went to therapy and did everything to correct myself. Now one slip up, which was just too far for her, and she just dumps me out of nowhere. She claims that my rude behavior is due to the fact that I am not in therapy currently, because I just graduated college and I cannot afford it. I have explained to her countless times that I am working on getting a job as well as insurance so that I can get therapy again. How can I go to therapy when I can't afford it? And how is this my fault when she is the one being controlling? What should I do? I definitely have to side with the OP on this one. The way the girlfriend's acting over something so minor is really ridiculous. And from the sounds of it, this guy's anger issues are from a really long time ago. It's really not fair to pin this on somebody when they've tried to improve themselves, and from the sounds of it, have made some very serious efforts to be better. That's really immature for her to do, and it does not make her a good partner in my opinion. If anything, it kind of sounds like she wanted to break up with him, and she was waiting for that one thing to have as an excuse to then dump all this other garbage on him that had already been resolved up to this point. It's really gross behavior, and this guy does not need this type of jerk in his life. So honestly, I'm kind of happy that this guy got out of this relationship, because who wants to really be in a relationship with someone who's going to sling mud at you all the time based on your own mistakes in the past, especially when you've tried to do better and be a better person overall. He does not need that, and he can find someone who's going to treat him with respect and be a lot better than this terrible ex-girlfriend. My mother-in-law is very overbearing and keeps trying to feed me meat, and I don't know what to do. I have been with my husband for 6 years, and we're married for 3 and expecting a baby boy in just a few weeks. I met his mother early in our relationship and initially really liked her since she was fun to be around and we had a lot in common. I've been a strict vegetarian since I was about 10 years old by choice. When I first met his parents and we would go to restaurants, it was just small things like asking if I was sure I wanted what I ordered, as well as offering to split their meal and dishes with me, or waving their chicken or steak in front of me and saying things like, "Doesn't it smell good?" I thought they were just trying to be nice, if anything just a little bit clueless, but I ignored it because I get that kind of thing all the time. After my husband and I got engaged and then married, we started spending more time at his parents' house, as they only lived a few streets away, and I was excited since I've never had a traditional family and I've always wanted to be a part of it. We would go for dinner a lot, and every single time it would be something with meat in it. Despite my mother-in-law knowing that I can't eat meat, I would usually just eat whatever the sides were and leave the meat alone. That is, until she started frying things in goose fat as well as adding bacon to veggies, saying it gave it a better flavor. My husband told her every single time that it was cruel leaving me with nothing to eat, and she would always apologize, saying she didn't know I couldn't have it. I figured maybe she just didn't know how to make vegetarian food somehow, and so I offered to bring my own dish to family dinners, but she insisted it was too much trouble for me to do that, and that she wanted to treat us. I started to believe maybe she was either clueless or just stupid, and I eventually refused to eat anything she cooked. Whenever we ate with his parents from then on, we either either went to a restaurant or they came to our house. I was always nice to her, even when I was angry, and she was always nice to me and didn't think it was worth arguing over. But once the pregnancy came along, it made me start rethinking my relationship with her. As soon as she found out I was pregnant, she was all over me. And at first, I was actually looking forward to spending more time with her. I don't have a mother, so being one myself was bittersweet, since I had nobody to go for advice or support. So I was excited to have my mother-in-law involved. I had very bad morning sickness for the first 4 months, and she was great with taking care of the house and making sure that I was okay. There were very few things I could stomach, so she didn't try cooking for me, but insisted on bringing me toast and fruit and tea, and I was very grateful, as on my bad days, I couldn't even get out of bed. After my nausea eased, the problems started again. She's been staying over for days at a time, and while she isn't being annoying, she's just wanting to clean the house and help us prepare, essentially for what feels like an 800-week pregnancy, and it's just making me uncomfortable, and I really want my space. She's generally very on top of me, and I know she's just excited to have her first grandchild, but she probably asked me, "How's the little man?" as well as, "When do I get to meet my little baby?" about 100 times a day. Some things even feel a little creepy though, like always asking me if he's moving or kicking, as well as putting her hands on and rubbing and kissing my belly constantly. One time I was in a really bad mood, and as soon as she touched my bump, I slapped her hand away and she cried and I felt a little terrible. Throughout all of this, I've only blown up on her twice. The first was when she commented on my size, not in a nasty way, just in the way that you do to pregnant people. Since I was first showing, whenever she saw me, she would drop a little joke, saying something like, "I bet nothing fits you anymore." Or she would also say, "I swear, you get a little bigger every time I look at you." It felt creepy and invasive, and I've always had body issues, so I didn't like what she said. Now that I'm almost full term, it's just been the usual. "You're ready to pop." I get stuff like that from her all the time. But a few days ago, she said, "You look like you were ready to have that baby yesterday. How do you even have any room for him anymore? You're huge." And after she said that, I exploded. I said something like, "I know, you don't have to tell me. I'm aware. Please leave me alone." I felt horrible after that because I did upset her, and she didn't talk to me for a few days because of it. The second time I blew up at her was when the meat thing started.
Oh, well, not the meat thing. Sorry, it's another ad.
Try crunchy, melty, rich toasted chips.
Another ad. Bring me the boys.
Started again, which feels like such a small part of it, but it was the last straw that broke me. While she was staying over, she started cooking for me and my husband. And guess what? It was always meat. I told her it was fine and that one of us would cook, but she insisted that she wasn't going to make a pregnant woman slave away in the kitchen, as if I don't cook for myself almost every day when she's not here. My husband, who has been 100% on my side throughout all of this, sat down and told her she absolutely cannot do that anymore, and she apologized and actually promised she wouldn't cook meat anymore and would make vegetarian food when she insisted on cooking. I thought that if she wouldn't listen to me, she would at least listen to her son. The other day, my husband was out from the morning until the afternoon, and my mother-in-law offered to cook me lunch. She made me vegetarian meatballs in thick, flavorful sauce, and I was honestly impressed. Shortly after eating, I started feeling incredibly nauseous and threw up, which was odd, since I haven't had morning sickness or any other nausea in months. When my husband got home, I told him I was worried that his mom had done something to the meatballs, and that I thought I was going crazy, thinking she was trying to poison me or trying to force meat on me once again. My husband confronted his mom, and eventually she admitted that they weren't veggie meatballs, but they were pork, which I haven't eaten in almost 20 years. So my body immediately rejected it. We threw her out of the house, and she hasn't stopped trying to come over or to try and contact us, begging me to forgive her. I don't know what to do anymore. She's been so nice to me as long as I've known her, and my husband is extremely close to her. I don't want to force him to cut contact with his own mother or stop her from seeing her first grandchild over something so small. I don't have any allergies or health issues, but my son might, and she could ignore them and make him eat something that could badly hurt him. I feel so stupid and paranoid, but I just don't know if I can trust her around me or my baby. What should I do? This is actually a lot more serious than people may realize. For someone who's strictly vegan or vegetarian, any kind of meat can make them violently ill. This is a very specific dietary restriction, so your body can react very poorly if any type of meat is in their food. What this mother-in-law is doing is absolutely disgusting and incredibly disrespectful. She is blatantly at this point disrespecting this lady's boundaries and ignoring the fact that she is a vegetarian. She literally cannot stomach having meat in her system. Her body, after 20 plus years, is not used to it. Like, that's ridiculous. I can't believe this person is not understanding of that situation. In my opinion, I think it's time to set a very serious boundary and not allow this woman to come back to your house. She is clearly not getting the picture or being woefully ignorant to your dietary restrictions. She is blatantly ignoring it and cooking whatever she wants just to try and get you to eat meat, which is genuinely not fair, and in my opinion is more akin to food poisoning than anything else. So I think kicking her out and saying, no, you cannot come over to my house, will send a very clear consequence to this lady. When you set up boundaries and someone doesn't accept those boundaries and then gets upset because you reject them, that's what we like to call consequences. And she needs to own up to the consequences of her decisions. And she knows for a fact that you can't eat meat, but she's ignoring it anyways. So kick her to the curb and say, nope, you're not allowed in my house anymore. Because otherwise this will continue. And she won't get the message, and who knows what she would try next. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the...
Okay, that was the end of that video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I might do some more Reddit stories. I hope you liked the little plushie here that I set up, so the filming wouldn't really see my desk thing with Bobby, but yeah. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.